Hey, and welcome back to TellSamyra. Today I'm talking about the golden child versus the scapegoat. Just in case you don't know those terms, I'm going to talk about it in relation to narcissism and narcissistic families. So the golden child is the child that the parent dotes upon. This person is just the greatest thing since sliced bread. The parent goes on and on about them. This can be a mediocre child that turns into an adult, but if you let the parent tell it, this is the next Barack Obama, the next Michelle Obama, just the greatest thing just to walk the planet. The parent just loves this child. They always tell people all kind of great things about the child, even if it's well exaggerated. They give this child, I think, a swollen head because they even tell the child how great they are, and the kid can start buying into this, great life story about them, even if it's really not true. But that's the golden child. Now the scapegoat is the one who, if the parent is having a bad day, the parent takes it out on the child, sort of like if the boss kicks the parent comes home and kicks the child. The scapegoat can really not do much right in the parent's eyes. But what I've noticed is that if the scapegoat and the parent are in public, if the parent wants to get some of that narcissistic supply, meaning to show off in front of other people, they may start to say good things about the scapegoat just if they want to get that supply themselves. But most time it's just like all horrible things with the scapegoat. So as my thing is, I like to go ahead and give examples. That's the best way I tell it, by a story. So hold on tight. So in my family, it was 3 girls. I was the oldest. I was, at first, when it was just me, I was I was the only child in them. I was treated marvelously. But when I was 6, my mother had a child, and as soon as my mother had that child, right before she had her, I noticed she started treating me different. Like, for instance, I was walking on my mom's bed, and I accidentally fell on her and fell on her stomach. She had started saying that I was trying to harm the baby. She had even told some of her friends that, saying, "Oh, Sam is jealous." And she kept on saying this, jealous. And I'm thinking, wow, now that I'm having a sister, I'm happy about it. What does she keep talking about? Jealous. But now looking back, I can see she was already setting the stage to start devaluing me and making me feel like I was nothing, while she was going to take this newborn baby and to replace the love she was giving me onto that newborn baby. Now this happened when my sister was in the womb. She wasn't even born. We didn't even know what kind of person she was going to be, and my mother had already decided that this was going to be the golden child. So, of course, as soon as my sister was born, my mother immediately started really just yelling at me, screaming at me. This is stuff that was new to me that she hadn't been doing before, like saying, "Get her shoe on," or "You make her do it. You're the older sister. You do it. What's the matter with you?" Just going crazy. Once my sister started to get older, my mother started comparing us, even though we were 6 years apart. For instance, if my sister was in 1st grade, my mother would tell me, "Samyra, when you were in 1st grade, you weren't as smart as your sister. She gets better grades than you." Then even if in 5th grade it would happen, my mother would say, "Oh, she's in 5th grade. When you were in 5th grade, oh, you weren't this smart. Oh, you weren't this." And then my sisters, I have 2. My sisters would actually, they got a clarinet or something that they were playing, the flute, and my mother, and they couldn't even play. I don't even know if they ever learned to play a song. But with both of my sisters, actually, one is not the golden child. I don't know if you call her the ignored child, but my mother didn't treat her as bad as she treated me. She would also compare me to her too, but she still wasn't the favorite. The middle child was the golden child. How do I know? Because she was treated better than us all, even though the baby wasn't treated as worse as I was. And I even heard my mother tell her friend over the phone that my middle child was her favorite child. So, but my mother would go on and on about how great they were, and I'm like, I don't even think they know a song. And my mother was like, "Samyra, you don't have any talents, you don't have any creativity, you got that D in art, I don't know where you come from." She would say how creative she was and how great my sisters were, and just me with these know nothing to offer. And so it started just like that. Over time, it built up to resentment because me and my middle sister, we really, didn't get along. And even I was mean to her because my mother was kicking me, so I would kick her, literally. And so I eventually got into church as we grew up, and I apologized to her. But I couldn't feel that she really forgave me. I was doing it because I thought it was the right thing to do at the time, even though she was horrible to me. But I would notice things early on, even when I apologized. It's like she would buy gifts for her friends and celebrate them happy birthday. I would do the same for her birthday. She would barely give me a happy birthday at the time. I noticed that she was like disrespectful when I would try to speak to her. And because I was in church at the time and thought I was trying to be super Christian, what they had been teaching me. And so, she had started getting very rude, and I had started taking it like, oh, okay. Oh, and if you know anybody that's a narcissist or has the traits, because I'm not going to come out to say she's a full-blown narcissist, but maybe. But, they don't respond to that type of behavior. They see it as weak, that, you want to really play very nice and you want to be even more of a pushover. Well, I'm going to push you to the end until you can't take it anymore. That's how I believe they look at it. So it was just a very, very horrible situation being there. So now I'm going to give you a shameless book plug. So you can find down below in the description my book, newly released short story, I Should Have Worn a Curtain, A Tale of Bulimia, Self-Loathing, and Romance by Samyra Alexander. And that is a fiction tale, but it's also based on some things that I know about eating disorders. You may have seen those videos that I've done. And also the boyfriend may be a narcissist, may not. I don't want to spoil it, but I want you to see my lead character, the things that she goes through with her weight and with binge eating and just trying to overcome family trauma, which is something I talk about in this YouTube channel. So please check that out. I think you'll love her struggle and see how she comes out in the end. Available on Amazon. Now back to what I was talking about. So anyway, so just growing up with the golden child, it was just a hectic situation. So even I don't know what I was thinking, but I allowed her to move when she graduated from college. I allowed her to move to LA with me, thought that would be working out. Even my mother had even told me my sister wasn't looking for a job, and I'm thinking, what do you mean she's not looking for a job? I had told her start looking for a job. I had found out that she had even gotten in trouble with the law, was accused of stealing in a store, and something told me just tell her to stay. And I think I told her something like that, you can't come out here stealing or whatever it is you're doing. At least this is the story I got from my mother. So anyway, she came out with me. She had her baby with her. The whole time, just very ungrateful. I had let her stay for a month, like with no, not paying rent. She turned down a job from USC. I found out that she was trying to enroll into a medical associate school. I don't know what it was, to be a medical assistant, something like that. And I couldn't understand because she told me she was going to wait a whole year before she enrolled in the school. So it was just a bunch of lies. She came out the first day I went to work. She was already at somebody's secondary college enrolling in a program. So she had this plan before she came out, which if you know LA, you know how the rent is. My thing is I needed to know that, because if you're coming out here, you're not coming out here, even though I was a doormat at the time, so I'm taking a lot of responsibility. You're not about to come out here and live on me in LA with the rent is how high it is. But she thought that's what it was going to be. So when I asked her for the money, she had ended up getting the money for going on welfare, and they gave her money for rent. Well, she decided, I asked her for it before the 1 month because I knew she didn't have a job. So I was like, won't you just give it to me? I'll hold it for you and I'll pay that as your rent for the month. Well, she thought I was trying to scam her. And then I found out that she was going to behind my back, talking to my mother, talking about I'm just looking out for money and my student loans were due and maybe I'm coming after her for money. Girl, she found out that the money that, and then so the next month it was time for her to pay the rent. She didn't pay the rent on the day that it was due. So I'm like, dude, where's the money? And she's like, oh, going off and crying, talking about she ain't got no diapers and she ain't got this and I should know. I'm like, dude, how would I know? She's like, well, we share one closet together. I'm like, we share a hallway closet. I'm not counting your child's diapers and wipes and just very unappreciative. I stopped going to stop participating in one ministry so I could watch her child. I would have her bring her child to me at my job, and I would go to church. So I couldn't do it because it was a toddler. So I had to drop out. I decided to drop out of one of the ministries. I'm not gonna say I had to, because nobody can force an adult to do anything. That was my choice. I had dropped out of it, and so I had made a lot of changes in my life for them to come out. And later when we got into an argument, she's telling me, you make me drive 40 something minutes to your job. I'm like, yeah, you think I'm about to not go to my church? I already dropped out of one ministry. Now you want me to not go at all so I can drive 40 something minutes to pick up your daughter and then drive another 40 something minutes or an hour to go back to church? Are you crazy? But this was just the entitlement. It was so crazy. So I had decided I was moving to Sacramento. I told her, you got a few weeks, you're gonna have to go. I fully gave her enough time. I would not plan to leave until the girl was gone. She had ended up calling my mother, talking about I was gonna make her homeless and she had to sell some of her child stuff. Yeah, you got to sell some of your stuff because you're gonna have to go move somewhere else. She didn't want to stay at the house that I was renting because it was too much. And so it's like, yeah, she had to downsize to move with somebody into a room. It's like, you're not homeless and this situation ain't working. She was plotting behind my back to move out anyway and not tell me. And it was like, so now that I'm the one that's telling you I'm leaving, now it's a problem. But that stuff just kept happening. So fast forward to this day, I am no contact with her too. Because even though we didn't talk a lot on the phone, even after we moved and she had gone back to where we were originally from, the relationship still wasn't there. It would be like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Maybe we'll text or say happy birthday. And, I would send her child gifts and everything. And never once did she ever would send me a birthday card or nothing. It was just like, it was like, oh, okay. Every year I'm sending her child gifts for the birthday, whatever holiday and things it was I was celebrating. And nothing, no kind of thank you card, no note, for no birthday gift for me ever. And somebody brought that to my attention, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I need to step back a bit. So actually when I went no contact, I just went no contact fully. I was like, I'm not sending no more gifts, I'm not doing no more happy birthdays. Love my niece, but before my own sanity, I decided that I was not going to put myself in a situation where I had to keep on dealing with the golden child. So I even decided to step back from my niece. Nothing against her. If you ever see this, love you. But for my own sanity, I had to back off completely from my family. So the final straw with the golden child and me, the scapegoat, was that when I went no contact with my mom, it was the same year, and my mother's birthday came. My sister sending me text messages or on Messenger. It's your mom's birthday. Don't you know it's your mom's birthday? And I figured, sweetie, I was 6 years older than her, so I knew about my mom's birthday before she was ever the sperm from her daddy ever went inside my mom. So I didn't need her telling me when my mama's birthday was, since I was older. So I decided, that I just had to go, because with a sister like that, you don't need enemies. This is the kind of person, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, that if I used to have a problem with writing was not my strong thing, and I needed help with writing. When I was in college, I had to go get some outside help, and I ended up making the mistake of telling her and my mom, oh, they just laughed. Anything that was something was wrong with me, they laughed and they just rejoiced. They were happy when something bad would happen to me. And I just got sick of that, that jealousy. Before I end up cutting her off, something had happened with me and my other sister, and I end up telling the golden child, and she laughed like from the pit of her stomach. It was like some wicked evil laugh. I can't even describe it, but she was like happy. That's what you fell for that. That's what you get. And I was just like, look, I gotta go with these people. And the reason that I think the golden child and the scapegoat is always set at each other, like with the fighting, is because the narcissistic parent sets it up like that. My mother did. She was constantly comparing us. She was constantly putting me down, and my sister saw that, and she decided that she wanted to be a part of that. That was all my mom. My mother would do things. I found out she would talk about about all of us behind our backs, which would just make it so more that I don't think that we really liked each other much, because, you know, if my mom is always like with the woe is me tales and how horrible my sisters had done her, and they weren't paying this, they weren't paying her back, and they weren't doing this, and oh, so horrible they are. And I was like, oh my God, these are some horrible sisters I have. And I'm pretty sure she was doing the same. I know she was doing the same thing about me to them. She had it set up so that none of us were talking to each other, me and my sisters. We would all go through her, and she would then give us the breakdown of what was going on in everybody's life. But where it started to break down is I started noticing that everybody, all the information was funneled through her. So I cut her out of it. I would still talk with her, but I would start talking to my sisters and be like, mommy said this, mommy said that. And then that's when I was figuring out, they were like, no, that's not true, this is not true, blah, blah, blah. And I started like, she's lying. And that's when I found out what she was doing. I didn't know she was a narcissist at the time, but I knew something was wrong. And when I started talking to my sisters more, and you know, then that's when I was able to confront to my mother with some stuff, and it blew up. A lot of it was just text messages. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. So for me with the golden child, because I know sometimes people like to come on and ask about closure, all the beautiful little terms that should never really be in my mind, I'll say, after dealing with the things I've dealt with. I didn't need closure with my sister. She got deleted on every account. But I didn't go full no contact with her, because she would say happy birthday, and I would just say thank you, and that was it. So that's not totally no contact. I'll say that was limited contact. But eventually I just went to the point that when she responded happy birthday, I just was like, I didn't respond, because my thing like this, she treated me like crap. I allowed it, you know. And so it's like, you don't need to tell me happy birthday, because I have not seen a change in her. It's like she's the same person. So why do I need a happy birthday from you? I don't need to be acknowledged. What needs to happen is you own up to the things that you've done. You repent of it. You show me that there is a change, not just with your word. And then we can go back to happy birthdays and doing some stuff like nothing ever happened. But if you're the same person, you can keep your happy birthdays. I don't need any to be civil with you with this fakeness, and you're acting like an evil person. So that's my take on this. So again, this is the golden child versus the scapegoat. And from what I can see, we never had a chance to be friends, because mother didn't set it up like that. She needed everything to revolve around her. She's a narcissist. She needs to create the drama. She needs to just create chaos in her life for her to feel good about herself and her life. So we were doomed before my sister even came out the womb. It's sad. Will it ever change? Who knows? But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you don't have my book, go ahead and get it. Like I said, see down in the description. Bye.